What's going on YouTube? So it's the Grand Line today, and here I'm going to be talking about the crew's reaction to Sanji returning to the crew once the Whole Cake Island arc is completed, and eventually, because we all know they're all going to meet back up at some point to face Kaido. And I was really starting to think about the possible interactions with Sanji and the rest of the crew when they all started to meet up back in Wano Kingdom and whatnot. And I've heard a couple other YouTube theorists discuss how the Straw Hats are going to interact with him when he gets back, and what's that scenario going to be like. And so today I want to have a little discussion and express my thoughts on the issue at hand. So with the whole situation that happened, I think a lot of it, the situation is extremely reminiscent of when Usopp wanted to challenge Luffy to the duel back in the Water 7 arc. However, I see there's still a ton of contrasting storyline that Oda did. With the difference mainly for me is that Sanji directly attacked his captain, whereas Usopp was more nonetheless challenging Luffy to a duel because they had a contrasting ideals, where Sanji was kind of thinking that he was biting the bullet, and rather than asking for his crews for help, he was going to do it on his own and somehow come on top, which was clearly not successful at all because they just chased him down and saved him at the recent chapter. And so it's a little bit more, in my opinion, harsh, especially with that if you look back on those panels when Sanji just literally beat the shit out of Luffy in front of his family, which you could argue that he had to do and whatnot, and that's the whole thing where Nami was fare thee well and whatnot, and how she saw it as exceptionally harsh, which is understandable if you're on the crew. And I also really, it's because at the end he said, I want to go back to the Sunny and whatnot, but I had to have to reread the panel word for word to make sure, because I don't want to quote this if I am wrong, but I don't remember if there's an exact thing where he apologizes to Luffy. I know he started to apologize, I think, to a little bit of the crew and whatnot, or no, he was talking about that you don't want to get involved with the Yonko Big Mom and whatnot, etc., etc., etc. But I don't think there's been an actual apology. I'm sure there's going to be when they all meet up back in Wano and whatnot, and there's a whole debriefing and etc., etc. with that. But I know with Usopp, I remember looking at his panel and he says, I'm so sorry, and he's going off about how he messed up in the crew and he wants to be let back in. And I don't really see that, or I haven't seen that yet, or we have not read that yet. As that no, Sanji was crying, saying he wants to go back to the sun. He needed Luffy's help, but he never initially I feel really apologized for what he did, in a sense, which is really interesting. And a lot of people bring up that other panel in the Zo arc, referring to Zoro, where he's well, Luffy's about to go take off and go catch him, and Luffy asks Zoro, you're probably all worried about Sanji, aren't you? And he says, don't make me kick your ass, I told you to leave that idiot alone. And you really see that that's I'm just gonna go think back to the Water 7 arc, and when Zoro was there and he's the next person that disrespects you and you just let him in, I'll be the next person to leave then and whatnot. And he says that, and I'm gonna be honest, Sanji was I guess you would say exceptionally disrespectful to his captain, refusing to compromise. I guess you could say he couldn't really explain what was going on, but he still literally kicked the hell out of Luffy just to show off with it for his family. I'm assuming I'm pulling teeth here at thinking exactly what his point of that was, but that to me I feel would really irritate Zoro, that Sanji would then do that to his captain, because Zoro has that undeniable loyalty, which all the Straw Hats have, but Zoro, as the right hand man to Luffy and the first member on Luffy's crew, there's a really strong bond between the two of them, and I think Zoro would be very irritated or pissed to hear that Sanji did that to Luffy over there, after already causing, Zoro did say, he was talking with Law and all of them, that there could be that situation where Big Mom's on their heels and Yonko's Kaido is in front of them, and they're stuck between two Yonko at this point. Which, okay, that could also be changing with the whole Capone Luffy alliance with the Vince Smokes that could be going down in the next chapters. But hypothetical here, if she does not get taken out, Sanji has gone and pissed off another Yonko in Zoro's eyes. Big Mom, which is now attacking them from the back, and then now Kaido's extremely pissed at them, and he's standing before them because they ruined his drug business with all the devil fruits, etc., etc. So I really am curious how Zoro's gonna really. I could totally see him being the next person to leave the crew. Maybe it might get a little cringeworthy and obnoxious at that point. If every single arc now somebody's trying to leave, etc., etc. But maybe that's where we could see Jinbei's role as like sort of like the negotiator, and I see him sort of like the adult and father of the crew. At least in the last chapter we had, it really showed his like knowledge and importance as that sort of like elder type of role amongst the crew. So maybe he may have a really interesting role where we sort of see his intelligence, mature side, sort of like try to handle things amongst the crew without having a fight or other people ditching the crew and whatnot and causing more issues throughout the rest of the storyline in Wano, because they're all going to need to be there to fight Kaido. They can't have anybody taking off and then leaving, because that's only going to hurt their numbers, etc. Alright, that's all for me, so have a great day. Let me know what you guys think. Like and comment below, and subscribe. See you later.